Welcome to Real Estate Investing Live with Lathe Lavada, and I am Lathe Lavada, so welcome. What we're going to be discussing today is how to effortlessly close more motivated seller leads. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. I want to jump right into it. Now, this one technique I use to close more seller leads or sellers, and I hate to even use the word close because yes, we're closing a transaction or a purchase agreement. We're getting them to sign a purchase agreement, but it sounds so just not relationship oriented. It sounds like you're doing something to someone, but most people hear this close and you always be closing and you're a salesperson. In fact, you want to be the furthest you can from looking, smelling, acting like a salesperson. And so it's just, if you really looked at human interaction, this next thing that I'm going to be telling you about, and there's some ways to maybe mechanically do it until you get used to it. There's some folks out there that, like I say, do it more naturally than others. Sometimes you'll do something and not even realize you're doing it. So that's what I want to discuss with you today. And that's how we can close or do more seller transactions or purchase agreements for either our wholesale transactions or rehab transactions. You name it, doesn't matter who you're talking to. You could use this to sell cars, real estate, whatever. Whatever you're doing, you're selling something to someone. So this technique is going to make you more effective. And it's an enhanced technique that most people have learned but haven't really dived into and fully understand the power of it, okay? This is not manipulation. My definition of manipulation is something you do to someone, and persuasion is what you do for someone. I think Zig Ziglar said that at some point, a great sales trainer of old, and still is people learn from him today. He's passed on, unfortunately, now, but he said that as well. So, what we want to do is we want to connect with people and give them what they want. So how do you do that? How can you open up that channel of communication, which is so important? I'm going to give you an acronym. I believe the FBI used this acronym. I first heard it from a marketing guru, Dan Kennedy. Maybe some of you have heard of him. He's responsible for teaching some of the very best information marketers or salespeople or business people around. And this was one of the things that he taught, and I believe he learned it from the FBI. So I'm going to teach you an acronym here that's going to help you build. Let's just get into it. I hate to use the word rapport anymore, but most of you have heard of the term rapport or matching and mirroring and things like that. But I'm going to explain this in more depth. I want to use the word with you, affinity bridge. Affinity bridge, okay? This is an infinite, my definition of it, and maybe many others' definition of it, is an infinite affection for another person, let's say. Now, if you look at that rapport, the definition is building common ground, if you've heard that. Or if they like you, they trust you, they'll buy from you. Those are nice definitions, okay? And that's, I hate to say for the lay salesperson or the person just starting out, because rapport for a long time for me was one of those things that was at the top of my list. I'd always do it. I started out doing it mechanically, like I'm going to teach you how to do, but then it just innately got ingrained in my psyche, and I just do it naturally. I don't even think about it. But I grew up differently than a lot of people. I grew up poor, not around a lot of people, not having a whole lot of friends in school when I first started out. So I had to mechanically learn some of these things in my early 20s. And so now I've become proficient at it. I've learned how to communicate, and they just come very natural to me. So I'm going to lay out here how you can learn this and use this to the advantage of the seller, really, and to yourself. Because if you can't communicate properly with people, you can't build a connection with people, then they're never going to listen to you. They're never going to buy from you or sell you their home. Okay, so salespeople use this, but I don't think they really dig deep enough with the meaning of rapport. I like the definition of affinity bridge. Affinity bridge is being able to build that infinite affection with another. Now, how fast you do it, it could take a long time. It could be very short and quick. It depends on how good you are at figuring out what you have in common. There are certain people that you're going to have a lot in common with, and there's others that you're going to really have to work on it. Okay, but this should be at the center, the focal point of your interaction when you meet with anyone, is to build this affinity bridge. Now, there was another, and I forget where I heard it before. It's probably been over 20 years ago that I learned this. If you get the person right, they'll get you right. If you like them, they will like you. So, uh, I've always tried to like anybody, and I just naturally, innately try to find the best in people and like them because I really do like and care people, and that's what's at the crux of this. But sometimes we don't really think about that automatically and we lose sight of it. But truly, most people care about other people and they want the best for them. But you have to keep that at the forefront of your mind. And then this is why this is so powerful. If you look for, this is the seed you really need to have in order to grow this, is if you really like someone for some reason. Maybe it's, they like the same football team as you. Maybe they grew up where you grew up. Maybe they went and had, they go to the same bar as you do, or they own the same car as you do, or they work the same job you used to work, or they have two kids like you do. You see, if you can find that common ground, but really what you like about them is the most important part, and that would be common ground. But if you talk about that for as long as you need to, I've talked about that for 20, 30 minutes, an hour, just getting to know the person. You can't put a time limit on how long it takes to get to know someone. They do say that the more they like you, they trust you, the more they'll buy from you. There's a reason for that. People want to like and trust and believe you. And you should be a likable, trustworthy, honest person to begin with in this industry. So the only technique that I'm showing you here is how to magnify that and use that to the benefit of the seller and to yourself, because this is really a win-win situation. We're not looking to manipulate someone and use this for evil. We're looking to open up that communication channel with someone that may inherently be closed at first, because there's so much marketing and advertising. We just naturally protect ourselves from the salesperson. So the more you can sound not like the salesperson, the better off you'll be. And that sounds counterintuitive, but do you like talking to salespeople? Probably not. Do you enjoy go looking for a car and someone trying to close you on something you don't want? You tell them you want a pickup truck 4-wheel drive, and they tell you, well, this little Honda Toyota over here is great. You really don't need a 2-wheel drive. This one's on sale. Do you really like that when somebody doesn't listen to you? No. So you also have to match up what they want, with what you've got. If you don't got what they want, then the sale's not going to happen anyway. So hopefully you can change what you've got to what they want, or you have what they want from the start. But they may not let you know that. They may not let you in until you build this affinity bridge, this infinite affection for you, that you work on. And that's finding that common ground, but really finding what you like about them first. Get them right first. Question them. And some might call this a consultative approach. But you're not trying to be an FBI agent and dissect them and everything about them. Have a normal conversation. You see, you don't have to be a good salesperson to sell someone or to close someone. And those are, I don't like those terms. In order to get them to buy from you, in order to get them to trust you, I like those better. Because no one wants to be a salesperson, because everybody doesn't really like salespeople. So the idea here is to build an affection for someone, and then they will in turn have an affection for you. And the way you can do that is by finding things in common and common ground. So I'm going to give you a mechanical way to do it, and it will become easier in the future. Now I'm talking about this acronym FORM. Family, okay, you could even add friends in there, so friends and family, but family, organization, recreation, and money. Okay, people like to talk about those four things. Those four things, if you use those four things. So if we think about it, family, you walk into somebody's home or you get on the phone with somebody, you hear some kids in the background. Oh, I hear you have kids. Oh, that's wonderful. How many kids do you have? How old are they? Oh my goodness, they're 5 or 3 years old. I absolutely love that age. Either I miss that age, or my kids are that age now, or I don't have kids, but I want to have kids. You see, you find something in common. You start talking about that. Because again, people will like to talk about this or that. And let them lead. If they start talking more about that, let the conversation go that way. If they don't really want to talk about that, then go on to the next one. Organization. Where do you work? Do you like your job? Are you moving? How many jobs have you had? You know, so on and so forth. Oh, I did that before when I started out. Or I have an uncle that does that. Or I have a brother that does that. Find common ground. Never lie about these things. You have to have common ground. I'm going to give you some examples of this here in a second. Um, and then we have recreation. Maybe they have sports up on the wall. Maybe you see a picture if you go into their house of a football team. Or maybe you hear the football team on the phone when you're talking to them. Or maybe they mention the football team, or you could bring up that. But it's better if you perceptionally get something from them, and then you bounce like that. Nobody likes to feel like they're being questioned and interrogated, was the word I was looking for earlier. So, if you can find out that they're interested in recreation, they were a football player, a baseball player, maybe you were the same, or maybe your kids are, and you can have a conversation about that and dive deep into that and spend some time talking about that. That's the best thing you can do for sales right there, because then they're going to open up, they're going to share with you, they're going to trust you, and then you can put together a plan. This barrier goes down, and you can put together a plan in which you can have an effective conversation. And that, believe it or not, will set you apart from anybody else that walks through that home, because most people don't do that. Most people aren't real, as they say. So then we move on to money. Some people like to talk about money, how much money they're making, how much money they spend, how much money they lose, so on and so forth. Okay, how bad they have it. There's more month at the end of the money or end of the paycheck. So that's money. So you can move through these areas, and if you happen to bump onto one that you resonate with, spend time talking about it. Don't feel like you've got to rush this sales process. I hear some salespeople say, I only have to spend 30 minutes and I can close them. This may be true. If you talked with them before, you followed up with them, maybe they know something about you, maybe they've sent mail, maybe they send you onto Facebook, however you're marketing, maybe they've known you, maybe they get a referral from someone. So you may not have to spend as much time there as if you're starting cold with somebody on the phone. Now, if you have a salesperson, they should transfer that rapport. They should put in their notes that this is what this person like and what they're like and what they like and so on and so forth. And you can use this formula, this acronym, in order to do and to train your actual salespeople or your VAs or the people on the phone who are generating leads, or yourself. Okay, so use that. It's a transference, so you can start out right. I see you came from Oregon here. I grew up in Oregon. Oh my gosh. If that's true and real, never lie again to build this rapport, because this is the trust that you're trying to build, okay? So this is how you use that. Now, let me give you some examples of how this has worked for me in the past. I think you're going to love this. Okay, so at one point when I was an agent in the beginning, a buyer's agent, I had an open house that I was at. The house was extremely overpriced, probably double. They wanted 400,000. It was worth 200, something like that. But it was on a little, man-made lake in Vegas. Okay. Well, I came from up near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I went to a college up there. It'd been a while. They call me, and I see this 208 number, this area code. The first thing out of the gates that I started talking to them about, and this has been, I think, in 2000, I would think 2007, 2008, which now has been, 13 years ago or better. But at any rate, I was working with these folks, and or they called me. I'm sorry, they called me, and I saw instantly that she had 208 on her phone. And I started, what did I start doing? I started instantly talking, hey, where are you from? Are you from Idaho? And she said, yes, I'm from Idaho. Where are you from up in Idaho? Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Well, this is where I went to school at. So I started instantly talking about Coeur d'Alene and everything that was going on in Coeur d'Alene. We spent 20, 30 minutes talking about that before we ever got into talking about the property. Guess what? They came down to look at properties. I showed them properties. They were a cash buyer. In fact, he's a builder. He's a builder that does over probably 100 homes or better a year. Wonderful couple looking for retirement, a second home in Vegas. And lo and behold, they bought a home with me for, I think it was somewhere around $895 or something, $795, $825, something like that. I remember I made a $25,000 commission. And this is because I did an open house. I posted online. They called me from that open house, and I showed them a home, and I made like 25 grand in like 10 days or something. And it all started because I built rapport for 30 minutes with the wife. Now I can tell you, to this day, we're still friends and I still communicate. And now that I have my second home up here in Idaho, we see each other. I have them over for dinner. They're one of my best friends. Okay, so wonderful thing, this rapport. Wonderful thing, building trust. Wonderful thing, really finding common ground. You'll find that it builds relationships very strong, very quickly. Um, and I built that rapport instantly just on that one granule. Back when I was a personal trainer many years ago, that's where I started selling. The first thing I'd do, I'd sit down with someone and I'd start asking them about, what they did for a living, where they came from, and all using form. I didn't even know I was using it back then, but I was doing that, and that was the first thing that I did to build that relationship, that rapport. Now I call it affinity bridge because that's an infinite affection, an infinite liking, an infinite love for someone. You've got to think about this on a much, much deeper level. And when you do that and you put that at the forefront of everything you do, every sales tactic, every script, everything, this should be the underpinning of what you do when you meet with a seller, whether it's to do a wholesale deal, whether it's to do a rehab deal, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's sales, right? People are people. Relationships are relationships. You have to care for others. What do they say? Uh, Once you let somebody know that you care about them, then they care about you. So you've got to find something to like and to care about. And most people, you will be able to find that. Now, some people are really closed off. You could spend a long time trying to do it. It's yes and no answers. They just don't want to open up. And unfortunately, that's not going to be a deal because they're not going to open up. They're not going to share. They're not going to disclose. They're scared. And it may take you a long time to do that, not just on one phone call or one meeting. It may happen eventually or it may happen never. But the fact of the matter is this one thing is going to get more deals in your pipeline than anything else. And again, we don't want to be manipulative here. This is persuasion. This is building a relationship to build trust so you can find a win-win situation to where you can help them and they help you by doing more, by making more money. That's what this is all about, right? As long as somebody gets what they want and you get what you want, it's a fair transaction, then we can have a deal. Okay. Now, so that is the number one thing that has brought more seller deals into my pipeline and made me very, very successful with how to close people. Now, in the future, I'm going to do more things and teach you more things on how to, work with sellers and present yourself and use some verbiage and some language that will help you close more deals, if you will, get more deals under contract, and be much, much more effective and persuasive in your, let's say, sales presentation. Um, so look for those. I would encourage you to go check out my YouTube channel, subscribe and like the channel. It's a new channel. We're building it over there. We're putting all these videos over there. It's YouTube, Lathe Lavada on YouTube. Search for that. Go over there, subscribe. The URL is down below. And in fact, the URL of a video I just did on how to get a deal for under $150 on Propstream. You're going to want to watch that video if you haven't seen it already. I had a strategy call with a guy the other day, and we recorded this, and it was a long training, but I show you exactly how to use Propstream, which I think is one of the best lead tools, research tools in the industry, in all of the 20 plus years that I've been doing real estate. So I encourage you to go watch that video. I think you'll love it. I also have a link there, and it'll be in the description on this video as well. If you look in the description, there'll be a link to that video and a link to my 7-day free trial that you can click that link for Propstream. So try it out for 7 days and then watch that video, obviously. And we're going to be putting out more videos on how to use Propstream here very shortly. Make sure, if you've gotten value out of this video, to like, share, comment. It really helps grow the channel, and of course the same on YouTube as well. And we also have a podcast you can check out, Real Estate Investing Live with Lathe Lavada as well. So you can continually educate yourself. That's the whole purpose of all this, is to help folks educate themselves. And if you're looking for a strategy call and you want to talk about how maybe we can partner up on wholesale deals or deals in general, make sure you sign up for that strategy call. If you have not joined my Facebook group right now, you can go on Facebook. It's Lathe Lavada Inner Circle. We may be updating that very soon to Real Estate Investing Live with Lathe Lavada, but go and check that out. Join our face group if you're not already a member. We'll also put a link down below to that Facebook group, or just go over there and search me on Facebook, Lathe Lavada, and you should find my real estate investing book. And one last thing that I want to invite you to do, if you're looking to get into real estate and you don't know where to start, you don't have a whole lot of money to start, one of the best ways to do that without using your own money is real estate wholesaling. I've got a free book that you can download over on lathelavada.com, and you can download the book for free, and you can get a bunch of free tools on how to start and grow your real estate wholesaling business. And you can always advance into real estate rehabbing, seller financing, multifamily, anything. But if you want to get up a bankroll and you want to do deals without a whole lot of money, real estate wholesaling is one of the best ways to do that. So go and download my free book with the tools over at lathelavada.com. So I want to thank you for watching this training. Again, like, share, subscribe wherever you're at, wherever you're seeing this video. We'd love to have you leave a comment or a review and help us grow our channels, our social media channels here with Real Estate Investing Live with Lathe Lavada and Lathe Lavada Inner Circle. Thanks again for watching. I hope you got something out of this. I'll continue to put out great videos for you on sales and closing techniques, on Propstream, and anything else that can help you grow your business. So if you're new to the Facebook group here or to our channels, then welcome, and we'll see you real soon on the next video. Thanks again. Bye-bye for now.